sorry, cloggy throat in the morning, so I usually have to have a drink or a beverage. I already burnt my tongue on my coffee, which is always annoying, so I'm drinking my red juice, which is not delicious, but apparently it's very good for me, so I will drink it. Hey, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. In case you haven't met yet, you can call me Pajama Grandma. I like to go by Pajama Grandma. As you can see, I'm in my pajamas. I usually am when I do my videos. I usually am most of the day, but you don't need to tell everybody. They don't need to know, because as I have gone from my offline brick and mortar world where I had to get dressed every day and go into the shop and interact with everybody in person, now I get to hang out in my pajamas most of the time as long as I want and do the things I used to do, but do them online and do them remotely, which is really, really kind of awesome. I don't know what you're doing in your life, but to me, just being able to be me is pretty fantastic. And I remember I spent a lot of my life, let's be honest, I'm nearly 60, and so let's say 56 of those years have been spent pleasing other people, wearing masks, wearing different hats, being who I thought I needed to show up in the world as, which was always a part of me, but it never felt right because it was only a part of me showing up. It wasn't all of me showing up. And so one of the coolest things I've discovered this year probably I started discovering it in 2010 after I had a sudden cardiac arrest. I started to go on a journey of, what the heck? Is this all there is? Because I've not been doing what I really want to do. Am I really happy? Probably not. You know, you don't drop dead if you're really happy. At least that's been my experience, is that, and that's my experience, again, because I'm sure people have lots of stories of people that were just going to get married or just going to do whatever, and then they died suddenly. And that's part of life, too. That happens. And I'm not here to explain that to anyone. That's for each of us to determine and understand for ourselves. But I am here to say that the more I get to be me, I mean all of me, and what really makes me excited and happy and delighted to be here every single day, excited to get up every morning and get on Facebook Live. Who the heck is excited every morning to wake up and get on Facebook Live? Okay, I admit it, I kind of am. It's fun. It gives me a little sense of adventure and a little sense of purpose. But listen to me, I can't even talk this morning. I have found that the more I get to show up in the world as who I uniquely am, just as I am, the happier I am. I have a question today for you, and I'd love it if you would comment in the comments below. How are you showing up as you on a daily basis? What percentage of your whole being, your whole personality, are you bringing to your life and everything you do every day, every single day? And some days you're more you than others. I mean, I think people find that they're more themselves on Saturdays and Sundays if they're working jobs or doing things that they don't necessarily love doing than who they are Monday through Friday. I'm totally guilty of that. Wow. If I think back during different stages of my life, you know, even from the time that I was a kid, you know, if you're going to school and you're fitting in to the norms and the mores and all the behaviors of the people around you, because let's be honest, when you're in school, everybody just wants to survive and get along. And it's sad that we have to survive school. Doesn't that tell us there's something wrong with the system? Yes, it sure does. See, that's that throat. I got to get my throat cleared. Absolutely. And then we go to work. Well, we go to college, and it's a little bit more freedom and a little bit more of ourselves. But still, again, for the most part, we want to fit in. So we behave and we put on different hats and we play different roles that we think we need to play for people to love us and people to like us. Because let's be honest, the only reason we ever behave in a way that's different than is 100% ourselves is because we want people to like us or love us or accept us or look up to us or whatever reason, for whatever reason. It's different for each of us. Sorry, you guys, my throat's really cloggy today. That's part of me. Sometimes I wake up and my throat's cloggy. Sometimes I'm loud and excited. Sometimes I'm quiet and boring. But nobody wants to listen to quiet and boring, so I'm just going to be me. And then in corporate America, or a job, whatever job, there's another really huge place that we get molded by our environment. I'm an engineer by trade, so I tend to be pretty boring anyway. But if I get into a serious engineering type environment, I'm very different than if I am hanging out with my family. It's just different because we think we have to be different in different situations. And to a little bit of an extent we do. I mean, you don't go into church and if you're an outgoing, gregarious, loud person, you don't necessarily go into church or go to a funeral or go to certain places and then be 100% you. At least most people don't. Is that right or wrong? It's not for me to decide. It's not for me to judge. Only you can decide what's right or wrong for you. So I've been thinking this morning a lot about how often and how much do I show up as who I really am. And I am really online. As I'm going from my offline businesses to my online businesses, I am very much being myself. And I'll tell you part of why. The last corporate job I had was really interesting. I'd had several corporate jobs before, and some of the environments I fit into really well, some of the environments I didn't fit into at all. My first job out of college was making toilet paper for Procter & Gamble, and I don't know what you know about Procter & Gamble. Loved Procter & Gamble. I learned so much working there, but I couldn't take it anymore because they had such a regimented structure and way of being as a manager there, and I didn't fit that mold at all. I mean, I could comply, but naturally my being, who I really am, did not fit that tight rules, regimented structure of how you have to be. I remember when I first started working there, it wasn't very long into my career, and I was in HR being lectured that you couldn't call men and women you guys or girls, or girls. I always said you guys because in Wisconsin, where I'm from, part of our colloquialisms is you guys. We say you guys about everything. Just kind of like Californians say, call everybody dude. We always say, well, you guys, let's do this, or you guys, let's do that. And that was not okay because they are men and women and deserve respect. Okay, as you get to know me, political correctness, that baby's out the window. I do not believe in political correctness, making everybody feel like they are the exact same and that everybody gets a trophy no matter how they perform. And it's not about competition. It's about people being rewarded for nothing. And it seems like this society right now, at least a large portion of it, thinks that you just have to show up. You just have to grace the world with your presence, and you don't have to do anything. You just have to be there, and you should get rewarded for that. No, it doesn't work that way. The world doesn't work that way. You get rewarded for what you give out and how you contribute to the world and the people around you and how you make the world a better place. That's how you get rewarded, not by just because you exist. Just existing isn't enough. And maybe it's enough for you, but certainly isn't enough for me. So how do you show up in the world? And of course, in true pajama grandma fashion, I lost my train of thought. Well, it was how I show up in the world in corporate America, for example, versus my regular life. So how do you show up? Do you show up as you? I didn't always show up as me. And the more I wasn't showing up as me in the particular role I had, the harder it was on my mental, I guess not my mental stability, but my emotional and mental. I will say, yeah, the harder it was on my emotional and mental ability to handle stress in other situations. And trust me, I can handle some major stress. I've had some absolutely unbelievable, like, people would say, "What the F, wow, is going on around you?" And I would just be rolling my way through it. And that's good. But that takes a toll on me as a human being. As a corporate executive, no problem. But as a human being, that used to eat away at me. I worked for some companies over my career that had different values and morals and ethics than I did. And I didn't work there very long because when you're working somewhere or you're involved in an environment that doesn't match your values or your beliefs or what you think is right and wrong in the world, and then, we get to all decide what's right or wrong for us, but what is right or wrong for you, what is right or wrong for me, when that doesn't match, it's very, very stressful, and you have to get out of that situation. And I found myself in a couple of those situations. If you have a long career, if you're as old as I am, you're bound to find that you have aligned with some people that aren't necessarily a good match for you at some time in your life. And maybe you're one of those people that's just so fortunate that you roll through your life and nothing ever happens. I'm going to say the probability of that is probably so small that you don't want to count on it. It's kind of like expecting to win the lottery. The probability, yep, you could, just like anyone else, win the lottery. You could go through your entire life and never have any obstacles, never have any challenges. It'd be pretty boring, by the way, and you wouldn't learn very much. Never have anything go wrong. All right, well, yep, it's possible, but what is the probability of that happening? We're human. Life is messy. Life is exciting. Life is certainly chaotic, and stuff is going to happen all around us all the time, and it's up to us to decide how we're going to react to that. And the more we're being our unique, crazy, wild, different, special selves, the more comfortable we are with being who we are, the easier we can navigate our lives, and the more fun the journey is. So what does that have to do with going from your offline businesses of brick and mortar to online businesses? What does that have to do with any of this? Well, what it has to do with it is I am finding that I get to show up as my weird self. Landon Porter, I've been following him on his group, Getting Clients Without Being Salesy. For some reason, I've been attracted to that group. I love it. It is the most refreshing online group I've ever experienced, at least thus far in my online experience of the world. Love it. Love the group. Love the guy. I have learned so much in like a month and a half from just being involved in that group. And that has probably stretched my comfort zone more than my daily scare share. And I've been doing that for like 147 days, I think, today. Yep, 147. So very, very powerful group. And I'm learning so much from him. And the other members of that group, I think I found it following a gentleman by the name of Gabe Arnold, who does a business automation group and how to automate your business. He's been online for like 20 years. And I learned some really cool things from him yesterday going through his group orientation or his group indoctrination series. And stuff that you should know or we should know or we're experiencing, but we don't really know. And it's so powerful to have somebody show it to us in a different light or explain it to us in a different way. And I thought that was wonderful. So Gabe Arnold, if you ever see this, I thank you for that. Landon Porter, if you ever see this, I thank you for the positive impact you're having on my life. And by impacting my life, I am now able to impact other people's lives. So it's this amazing chain reaction in a positive way. And that is part of who I am. And what gets me excited is making the world a better freaking place. And I remember having a conversation with my mom about this about a couple years ago, right after my dad had died. And I know my mom was really sad. We were all really sad. Like, I get choked up anyway. And I said, well, Mom, doesn't everybody want to make the world a better place? And she just started laughing, and she said, you are so naive, Sherry, because my family calls me Sherry. I want to be naive. I want that to continue to be a part of who I am. And guess what? Pajama Grandma can be naive. Now, I can be naive, and I can still do things smartly and very intelligently. But I want to keep that childlike wonder of believing that everybody wants to make the world a better place. So much of our lives have been inundated with the message that you just have to, toe the line, be a good soldier, do what you're told to do, just be average, just be normal, just fit in with everybody else. And there's something inside of me, and I think there's something inside of the people that I work with that says, no, no, we're not just going to be good little average soldiers. To me, the absolute worst thing I can be in the entire world is average. I actually rather be below average than average. I'd rather be anything than normal or average or just like everybody else. And so what does that have to do with online businesses? I keep coming back to the topic at hand, right? It has to do with I am on a mission to freaking be myself. And if you've seen any of my stuff or heard any of my podcasts, I hope that comes through. I hope you're seeing that. And I think it's really fascinating because if you want to see, or this is my belief, if you want to know who somebody really is, all you have to do is, nowadays, it's a crazy, look them up online and pay attention to the things they say and do. Watch their videos if they make videos. If they're not making videos and they're only doing written words, how do you know it's really them? How do you know that what is written is true and has anything to do with them, or that they hired a $25,000 or more copywriter to write the copy for their website, to write their program, to create their program? And that's why I think voice and video, as scared as we might be to do it, we need to get up and do it because people have to see who we really are so that they know we're the real deal, so that they know that, and they can know and like and trust us, that they know what we really stand for, where we're coming from. So I laugh because I think I've made like 1,000 videos this year, and I was scared to death to get on a Facebook Live. And a couple people, and I have to give credit to, and a lot of people encouraged me to do videos. But I want to give credit to a gentleman by the name of Mark Nelson, because Mark Nelson did a 5-day challenge, and that is what really got me hooked on doing videos and willing to do videos and willing to put myself out there and try doing it. And it's like anything else that we're afraid to do. We're afraid in our mind to do things. We make up all these things in our minds and these catastrophes of how something is going to kill us. And so that's how I defined fear, and that's how I looked at it originally. And I did a Facebook Live video, and I didn't die. I was like, oh my God, I did a Facebook Live video, and I'll admit, it sucked. It was terrible, but I didn't die. So I did another one. It gave me the courage to do another one. And the way through fear is by taking action, taking one step toward what it is we're afraid of. And that's true of just about everything. And for me, it was Facebook Lives. So now I've done all these Facebook Lives. So if anybody wants to know who the heck I am, all they have to do is be brave enough to go back and watch some of my Facebook Lives. And they're everywhere. Watch my Facebook Lives, see who I am. If that is somebody you can relate to and somebody you want to work with, great. If I'm not, or somebody you want to listen to, great. If I'm not, please don't listen to me. Just go away. Just listen to someone else, because there are so many thought leaders. There are so many people we can learn from. And really the secret is you can learn something from absolutely everyone. Everyone, no matter how good or bad you think they are, no matter how different you think they are than you, we can learn something from everyone. And if you approach your life that way, if you approach other people and your interactions with other people that way, your life is so much richer, because even if you think somebody is terrible and evil, you can still learn how you don't want to be, how you don't want to show up in the world. Think of all the terrible, heinous people from the past. I'll use Hitler as the example. We have a lot to learn from Hitler so that we don't repeat those atrocities of the past. Now, there's still that same kind of crap going on in the world right now, and we're all just closing our eyes and pretending it's not happening. There's a lot of evil and a lot of stuff that's bad that happens in the world, but we don't have to contribute to it. So online is all about being yourself, getting your voice out there, being who you really are. And people can tell if you're being yourself or not, or if you're being authentic. I don't really love the word authentic, because I don't know why. It just is like, it seems inauthentic to talk about being authentic. But I think you just be you. I used to end all of my writing, because I was a writer before I decided I would try Facebook Lives or video. And I ended most of my posts and most of the things I wrote with be loving, love being, be you. Because it's all about being yourself. Be a good, kind human being. Be loving. Take care of yourself and take care of other people. Love being. Frickin' enjoy what's going on around you. Appreciate and have gratitude and be so appreciative and grateful for all the blessings in your life. Because if you're listening to my voice or seeing this video, you have so many more blessings than the vast majority of the people on this planet. And you sure ought to be appreciating that. No matter how down and out we are, oh my gosh, we are so fortunate and so abundant and so lucky compared to most of the people in the world and on the planet. And it's not about comparing yourself to others. It's about appreciating what's working in your life so that you can create more of it. And be you, because everybody else is taken. I know that you've heard that before. I know people say that all the time, but do you really know it in your heart? Do you know it in your soul that you are awesome just the way you are, and the world needs you, just you, who you are, not you pretending to be somebody else, not you putting on masks, not you playing a gazillion different roles because you think someone outside of you thinks you should or criticizes you if you don't behave in a certain way. Hey, I got one of those families. My family's always given me a hard time about when they watch my videos. Let's be honest. My family's not my target audience, and they're not the people I'm trying to talk to and reach, so they don't watch a lot of my stuff. But every once in a while, they'll catch something, and they'll send me a text message, or they'll call me, and I don't answer. They just go to voicemail usually. But they've got something to tell me, or that I say, or a story I shouldn't have shared because they didn't like it. And I'm like, whatever. You know, this is my life. You guys get to be you, and I get to be me too. So go out, make it an awesome day. Be yourself. Be brave. It takes courage to be yourself in a world where everybody is trying to get you to be just like everybody else. But everybody else just wants you to show them the way. Everybody else wants to be themselves too. One of our greatest human desires is to just live our lives and be ourselves. Go out and make it a fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow with a little bit of my new adventure. I didn't even tell you anything I'm working on today, but I'll give you a recap tomorrow because I got a lot going on and I want to share it with you and get your feedback on it. So this Pajama Grandma says, out! Have an awesome day. Bye.